Are you ready for the eclectic one? AKAPAD is here.
And here we are, AKAPADers. Let me get some of that Saturday morning slow cap. How's that fisheye lens working for you? But cheers. We have some of the coffee going. You're watching something pre-recorded. I apologize if you think I'm live, but you guys know it. Another known as Peter Anthony DeLuca. Look how nice that shows up on camera. If you want to see how often I play with all the settings to get things just a little bit better every single time, go through my feed. You will see constant adjustments. But AKAPADers, it's time to draw. I'm pre-recording this because if you're watching this, I'm traveling. A little bit of an update. So we're doing like a run at the end of the year just to kind of get back to drawing. We have one whole Avengers notebook with nothing but Avengers portraits. I wanted to even draw Stingley, even draw my gorilla, my monkey. I got to fix this one. This is my gorilla. I call this my gorilla Jack Kirby. We're really making progress wrapping this up soon. This is my Street Fighter 2, but now it's Street Fighter Alpha because we're knee deep in the Alpha characters. This is another sketchbook. This is for Inktober. Skipped around on this one a lot because when I have a lot to draw, I'll go through just like what the ideas are, and a lot is drawn from memory, and then I'll kind of go back with the reference if I have to finish it up. Like here, like Birdie, I know Birdie has like a mustache, which I had to look that up. So yeah, I'll draw that in. Well, we'll ink this. Sometimes I'll leave my pencil mark. Sometimes we go through levels and series of detail, stuff like that. So if you're not familiar with my process, if you saw the headline, we're doing Transformers. And this is my plan of action for my Transformers sketchbook, which is right here that we have already begun. We have Vector. We're starting with all the primes. We have Unicron here. We start with Primus here, which, oh, geez, I still have to ink Primus. But I don't know how far. I know we opened a lot with this. I don't know how far I'm going to go today. I just know I have to start making progress with this. And I just want to share that with you. So to get started, we got to swap that out. I've been burning through cartridges. So I went to my local art supply store, and I was going to buy another like handful of these. I'll show you guys real quick how how it ended up. I was like, okay, another 5, another 6, maybe 10. Maybe I'll even get 10. And check this out. They had one that was like clearly ripped off of the peg. And that was it. So I'm down to 3 of these. But during my travels, I'll be working on most likely my Harry Potter sketchbook. So I will post that on social. But these, I just wanted to get these started because these take time. I'm not great with drawing Transformers. Some of them don't have full references, which makes it a little bit tougher. Like just for example, here we're drawing Soulless Prime. It's like the girl Prime. And, you know, to get it, she doesn't have a go-to design or even color way. So you kind of have to be like, all right, like, let me just try and get the best elements from both and like pray that it comes off a certain way. You know, like to where we can kind of tell if it's still her or not. Because you got to draw things accurately. You have to always try. The people that don't, And we were kind of discussing this not too long on a different live stream. But the people that don't, they almost like crap on your character. And that used to be a thing. You used to not be able to do that if you were drawing anything. Like you had to draw, if you work for animation, you had to be on model. If you work for Marvel Comics, you had to be on model. You had to get good with reading, working from, and designing model sheets. Like all this stuff. And we're kind of, I just think as a collective, we're almost like past that. People just don't care. Studios don't care. Institutions don't care. So why should we care if things are on model? But I say the hell with that. Yeah, like I say, you should maintain that. You should fight to keep that going. So this one too is just the overall little bit of the art direction here for this sketchbook. This is very much clean. Like we're not the last couple ones. Actually, 3 of my ongoing ones. I have a Wildstorm one. I just did that Avengers one you saw, and that Street Fighter. A lot of the art direction for those are it's draw quick type thing, but I like that's a little bit of my style too. So, but here it's still kind of draw quick because we respect we're in a sketchbook environment. We're not doing production work or anything. And but let's make these ones a little bit cleaner. So, and always we preach about this, like with sketchbooks. Like it's okay to have a sketchbook and you have your own art direction for said sketchbook. Like that's kind of cool. You want to challenge yourself in certain ways. So why not? Like, why not do it? You should not wait for any type of assignment to learn to draw something. That's what sketchbooks are for. Yes, and if I go quiet, it's because I'm drawing and focusing. This is very rough and porous paper. So I'm afraid to get this paper wet. It's very similar to last year's, almost like maybe exact to last year's Mortal Kombat paper, which was also from Five Below. She has she has like a sledgehammer, which is cool. Like it's a nice look. So it's a little bit of the design for the pages. It's like one portrait, one like full body shot, and then once we get into vehicle modes, it's going to be that, but a little bit more, little bit more work. So this sketchbook it's really becoming, it's becoming just a lot of work. But I still would love to get this. I mean, we can see how many drawings we have real quick. And even with the Transformers 1 movie, if anyone out there saw it, it is available on Prime. Let me see here. So she's all gray. I think we can give her a purple tint. I saw some interpretations of her with purple. But even with Transformers Prime, we don't have there's no order of the primes, which ones are which. And that's where like these primes pretty much they go all the way up to almost like 24. But here, like I mapped out, we can see we have the primes here, the prime Quintus Prime, Nominus Prime, Alpha Trion, Orion Pax, Prima. So we go up to 24 essentially. And then we get into some of the first Autobots, the first Decepticons, all from the original animated series. Early Decepticon Soldier, early Decepticons, and then we get 9 million years later. And then we get into what we will call G1, and it goes all the way through the movie to Rodimus Prime, post-movie Six Shot. So I have other ideas going all the way up to 89. Orange Devastator, that was Generation 2. In the later pages, I'd like to add, just kind of do a free-for-all. But to me, that's almost like a third act here. It's the finale. You want to end things in a cool way, kind of in the visual way. So a lot of these sketchbooks are as if we're designing a real book here. Like, how do we want the later pages to turn out? Like, what's important? And I would say even this one, I feel like I'm a little bit too tight with it. We need more of these nice looking brush strokes. We still have to monitor the phone. That's what we do. Because sometimes when we record, it's the workday. But I run a 24/7 shop, so 24/7 graphic design, illustration, web development, and IT. We do a lot of IT work now. Always got to look at what's happening on the screen with some of these proportions. Always, always. And that's the true benefit of streaming. Is cause you can, the distance that the camera creates really helps with a lot of that. Where before you would kind of want to have a mirror on your ceiling, and you would be able to look up at the mirror and see a little bit of how something looked. So there's that, right? And kind of, we'll see. We'll see how well some of this absorbs. And we will try and use. I'm debating on what type of brush we go in with. If I kind of go in with a rounded brush, and we can kind of really use the texture of the paper to our advantage. Because we want these to be watercolor. I mean, not watercolor, colored pencil. But there's something really cool. Like, even with that Street Fighter sketchbook, it felt so good to draw those characters, to finally get to it, but to kind of have it in a way where it's like, wow, like, I don't have to think about drawing these characters anymore. Like, they're all right here. I'm going in order. Yeah, and there's always, I think there's a completionist in all of us. But that completionist kind of comes out. Maybe you guys can see, but this rounded brush is not 100% accurate. And then here, where it's broken up, we can go in there with some colored pencil and just add those like cool space colors, like pinks and bright greens and blues and purples, to really make it look like it's just from another world. Which is what we want. We want to treat Transformers as aliens. Which is funny because there's so much flack for that Michael Bay stuff where, that was their approach. And they leaned in on it too when they saw the online backlash. There's interviews of it. And I don't blame them. I really don't. But it will be no cap. I will be elated. I will be beyond myself if I can get through this sketchbook by New Year's. Like it's because this is another one that's just been bugging me that I haven't had progress on it. And I wanted this year to be a little bit less of other people's themes, like other people's sketchbook challenges. June Tune, Inktober, Jacktober, the Jack Kirby one. I just wanted to do these massive volumes though, and kind of also have a year where it's like, hey, I drew all the Street Fighter characters, I drew all the Transformers, I drew all the G.I. Joes, like stuff like that. And here we can kind of, I like the dry brush, and we don't have a lot of dry brush in my sketchbooks. All right. But that's what, and we always run into problems. So the next up, it's my Cronus Prime, and I'm not familiar with what he's from. I think he's from Transformers Prime because his drawing style looks like it's from Transformers Prime. Look, I'm not completely versed on like all the lore, all the little intricacies of some of these, like the different designs, what one interpretation does versus the other. Like, I'm not 1,000% on all of it, but I try and keep track. I really do. We're already at like almost like 30 minutes. I'm just curious on how this pencil would come through. there's always a back and forth to, like, when you're live, and even if you're recording yourself, like, do you, and you know you won't be editing, do you draw things in a certain way that would be maybe a little bit more entertaining? But that dry brush works really nicely. And always for sketchbooks, it just takes time to get into a rhythm of what the sketchbook is supposed to look like, what it's supposed to be. Which is why in that Street Fighter sketchbook that you guys saw, why I favor going back and forth as much as I do with that one, because it's a little bit more uniform. A little bit. That's almost too subtle for the camera. My apologies. But I mean, way different than previously, right? But I'd like to see this here for Vector. I like where the colored pencil meets the lead meets the ink. So we got some back and forth to go. And I think this guy, he's almost like a Tiffany blue color, which is awesome, by the way. Yeah, we got a wet spot right here. That's going to have to dry. We're 30 minutes in. AKAPADers, happy Saturday. This is a little bit of a quick one. My apology. I do apologize. But hey guys, subscribe, support, leave a comment, do all of that. Be on the lookout. I will be speeding towards the end of December to get all of this figured out. The insert page, the insert arts, the inside covers, front and back. One will be Optimus Prime. This will be acrylic. We'll have Megatron back here. So we got a lot of good things planned out. So, AKA Powders, until next time, rock and roll.